What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Celio's Network. Today we are covering Dusk Necrozma-GX. This deck is an all basics version without Magnezone to power it up. This deck was tried out a bit before Forbidden Light, but I think B-String really adds a lot of mid to late game power to it after you use those energies that you got with Max Elixir. B-String gives you another option aside from Solgaleo to repower up your Dusk mains. So yeah, let's get into this deck profile. First, we're starting off with one Oranguru for that Instruct ability. Once during your turn, you may draw cards until you have 3 cards in your hand. And Psychic isn't too bad of an attack. So for 3 colorless, 60, this attack does 20 more damage times the amount of energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. Probably won't be using it, but it's not too bad, like I said. Zoroark didn't really fit in here as well. Octillery didn't really fit, so Oranguru seemed like the logical answer for some kind of draw support. Next, we have one Celestina, so our Dusk mains are all weak to fire. So we have another big Ultra Beast, 200 HP, and it has some interesting attacks. Rocket Fall for a metal and 2 colorless. This attack does 30 more damage for each colorless in your opponent's active Pokemon's retreat cost, so with a base of 30. Moon Press does for a metal and 3 colorless 130, and then Blaster GX for a metal and 3 colorless 180. Turn all of your prize cards face up. So Celestina, excuse me, is kind of our backup Ultra Beast here, and it's weak to something different than Dusk main, which is it could be useful if you're playing against a fire deck or something with a lot of retreat costs. You can get some nice damage in with Rocket Fall. So Dusk Necrozma-GX is the star of the deck. Basic GX Ultra Beast tag, 190 HP metal. Claw Slash is its only mediocre attack. For 3 colorless it does 60, but then we have Meteor Tempest, so for 3 metal and 1 colorless it does 220 damage, knocking out just about everything there is to knock out, and discard 3 energy from this Pokemon. So the goal of this deck is to take 6 prizes with 3 attacks from Dusk Necrozma, whether it be 2 Meteor Tempest and 1 Sun's Eclipse, or just 3 Meteor Tempest. So we have the cards that can charge up our Dusk Necrozmas to do so. His last attack is the GX, Sun's Eclipse GX, that does 250 damage. Absolutely insane for 3 metal energy. You can use this attack only if you have more prize cards remaining to your opponent, so Sun's Eclipse GX is perfect to use on the same turn that B-String becomes applicable. So next we have a couple Pokemon that can charge up Dusk Necrozma in the early game before B-String is usable. We have Registeel, a basic 130 HP metal. For 1 metal energy, Turbo Arm 30 damage, and attach a basic energy from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon. We are playing a lot of basic energy, so it should be easy to get those into the discard pile. Its other attack, 2 metal and 1 colorless, Iron Hand for 90 damage. If Regice is on your bench, heal 30 damage. This will likely only be used if you can take a knockout with it and you want to leave a 1 prize Pokemon up instead of a 2 prize Pokemon to swing the prize trade potentially, but really here for its Turbo Arm attack. Next we have Solgaleo Prism, an absolutely amazing card. So basic 160 HP metal type, and it's only a 1 prizer. It is a Prism Star though, so we can only use 1 in the deck, and when it would be discarded, it goes to the Lost Zone. But Radiant Star is nutty. For Metal Energy, for each of your opponent's Pokemon in play, attach a Metal Energy card from your discard pile to your Pokemon in any way you like. So, if your opponent has 1 active Pokemon and let's say 4 benched Pokemon, you could search for 5 Metal Energy, maybe put 3 on one Duskmane and 2 on the other. Spread it around. If Solgaleo Prism is likely to live another turn, you can even attach it to him, since his Corona Impact attack does 160, which is not too shabby. So Solgaleo Prism will likely be used in the mid to late game to set up like kind of a stalemate position where you have 2 big attackers on the bench ready to go, and your opponent can't possibly get rid of both of them, so you're going to have a big attack to shoot off next turn regardless. That's kind of what Solgaleo is for. It's also a really great comeback card if you need an extra turn to reset up. Maybe you only hit 1 B string, you missed all of your max elixir or something like that. So it's kind of a fail-safe, as well as it's kind of a checkmate position. It can put your opponent into those kind of positions where they cannot win. So we're rounding off the Pokemon with 2 Tapu Lele GX. It's that Pokemon with the Wonder Tag ability that you all know and love. When you play this Pokemon onto your bench, search your deck for a supporter card, put it in your hand. Great for consistency, whether it's the first turn and you need your first Lily or Sycamore, or it's later on and you're searching for a Guzma to take out one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Its Tapu Cure attack cannot be used in this deck, and it's worth noting that it only has 1 retreat cost, so it's easy to get out of the active spot. That's it for the Pokemon. We're pretty light, only 10 Pokemon, but each one really counts. 3 Duskmane Necrozma, that's our main attacker, that's our main Pokemon here. If we can get off 3 Meteor Tempests, we'll probably win the game, and that is the goal. So we're gonna go over to trainers. We have 4 B-String, the best card from Forbidden Light. You can play this card only if your opponent has exactly 3 or 4 prize cards remaining. That's fine. That is going to happen almost every game unless your opponent's making some crazy devolve plays or some crazy Buzzwole Jet Punch plays to get around your B-String. So only if your opponent has 3 or 4 prize cards remaining. Search your deck for up to 2 basic energy cards and attach them to one of your Ultra Beasts. Celestina and Duskmane Necrozma are both Ultra Beasts, so you can just search up for 2 metal energy, attach them to Duskmane Necrozma, and you're 2 steps closer to using Meteor Tempest or Sun's Eclipse GX. We're playing 4 of this card, so you can play as many as possible on the turn your opponent goes down to 4 or 3 prize cards. And we're also playing a lot of draw and search to get these out as well. So we have 1 Field Blower. I thought this was worth including. You know, maybe your opponent has Garbotoxin and it's affecting you because you can't instruct or use your Lele. Maybe your opponent has Fighting Fury Belt on a beefy Pokemon, so you can't get the Meteor Tempest KO. Maybe Choice Bands are going to one-shot you. A Float Stone is really helping them. It's just a really great utility card. I only added 1 because I don't see a dire need for it, so it might be the first card to cut if you see something else you want to put in the deck. 4 Max Elixir. So like I said, we want to accelerate energy. That's all this deck is about, getting energy onto Duskmane Necrozma and sometimes Celestina. So 4 B-String, 4 Max Elixir. I think you should be good with getting energy onto your Duskmane. And you also have Registeel and Solgaleo Prism. It's just a lot of synergy here with Energy Excel. So 4 Max Elixir for sure. Look at the top 6 cards of your deck and attach a basic energy card you find there to a basic Pokemon on your bench. And we're playing a lot of energy, so you should hit these a lot of the time. Next, we are playing 3 Order Pad. I might even put in a 4th. So Order Pad is an item card. Flip a coin if head, search your deck for an item card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. It's just so important that you hit these B-Strings on the turn that they are live. On that turn when your opponent has 3 or 4 prize cards remaining. So I put in 3 Order Pad to give you an extra chance to hit the B-Strings when you need them, because excelling that energy on the Duskmane Necrozma is just so powerful, and we don't want to miss those B-Strings. Or even if we hit 1 B-String, we want more outs to hit a second. So we have 4 B-String and 3 Order Pad, so technically there's 7 outs to it, and then 3 of them are 50-50 chances. better than just having 4. You know, there is an extra deck space in here since we're not playing a lot of Pokemon, so I figured maybe add some consistency to B-String. My other thought was maybe a Skyla or 2, but that's a lot slower because you can't Sycamore into it then use it. So, we'll see how Order Pad works out. Definitely let me know if you like it. So far, I like it, but you know, flipping a coin is never one of my favorites. You know, I want to be sure of the things I'm doing, but it just seems really good in this deck because you really need to hit your B strings or the deck just slows down a lot. Next we have one Super Rod, so this is in case, you know, you need a Lele back to Ultra Ball to get that Guzma for the game, or your Oranguru got knocked out, or your Celestina got knocked out, and you're playing against a fire deck, so you really want it. More likely, you want to shuffle back 3 Metal Energy, so your Max Elixirs hit, or you have energy in your discard pile to B-String. Maybe they all got discarded early, so you never know. One Super Rod feels safe to play. 4 Ultra Ball, pretty much a staple. Discard 2 cards from your hand. If you do, search your deck for a Pokemon, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your deck. Ultra Ball also gets to discard you some Steel Energy, Metal Energy, whatever you guys call them. And that means Turbo Arm and Radiant Star can get those back onto your Pokemon. So definitely 4 Ultra Ball. 3 Cynthia. Shuffle draw 6 is just really great, and we need to draw a lot of cards in this deck so we can hit those B strings and those Max Elixirs. 3 Guzma. So since we're just blowing up whatever is in the active spot, we don't always need the Guzma, but we do want to try to always be hitting a 2-prize attacker if our opponent is playing, you know, a mainly 2-prize attacking deck. So 3 Guzmas seems right. 4 isn't really necessary because we're trying to use a draw supporter to hit those cards every turn. So Guzma is going to be like kind of on those odd turns where we already have a Duskmane Necrozma set up and we can pick exactly what we want to kill. 1 Lily for the first turn. You know, if we can empty our hand, try to hit Max Elixir. Try to hit Max Elixirs, try to get a couple more Pokemon set up. You know, Ultra Ball, just thin out your deck a little more, get more options into your hand. It's always good. Get a Duskmane, get a Registeel, get Oranguru down on the bench, get your setup going. So 1 Lily seems good. Bridget, I really don't want Bridget in this deck. We don't have a lot of things that we need to get onto the bench, you know. So yeah, 1 Lily seems good, no Bridget. 3N, like I said, we need a lot of shuffle draw. We need a lot of draw in general. So, and each player shuffles his or her hand into his or her deck. Then each player draws a card for each of his or her remaining prize cards. So, likely you will be setting up for the first couple turns with a Registeel and Max Elixir and stuff. So, I think most of the time we're going to go down on prizes. Our opponent will take the first couple prizes, and that's fine. And we'll set them back for it. 4 Sycamore, the best draw supporter in the game. Discard your hand and draw 7 cards. We need to draw cards. We also need to get some Metal Energy into the discard pile for Registeel and Solgaleo Prism. So Sycamore, 4 of it seems really great. 2 Fighting Fury Belt, add 10 damage to our attacks. Also add 40 HP to our Pokemon. A Solgaleo Prism with 200 HP is unbelievably beefy. It's really annoying for your opponent to knock out. Duskmane Necrozma goes up to 230 HP. And Celestina-GX is 240 HP with the Fighting Fury Belt. So they're not completely necessary to the deck, but they're definitely nice to have. And 10 extra damage can matter every now and again. And then 2 Floatstone to switch things out of the active spot. We'll round out our trainers. And then we have 15 Metal Energy. Basic Metal Energy. So your Max Elixirs are hitting. They're always in there to search out with B-String. And you can get some into the discard for the likes of Registeel and Solgaleo Prism's attacks that get energy out of the discard pile. So that is my Duskmane Necrozma-GX deck updated with Forbidden Light. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely try out this deck, and if you want to see PTCGO gameplay from me, including some games with this deck, make sure to go ahead and follow me on Twitch and Twitter so you know when I'm going live on Twitch with PTCGO gameplay. I'm trying to play on Twitch at least a little every weekday this summer if I'm not traveling for a tournament or work or something like that. So make sure you check me out on Twitch, and you'll see a lot of gameplay with these decks that I put up deck profiles of. Also, don't forget you can use your coupon code CELIO, all caps, at flipsidegaming.com for 10% off of your next order, $10 or more. Well, thank you guys for joining me today for this deck profile, and I'll see you next time here on Celio's Network.